Melissa Agnes, founder and CEO of Crisis Ready Institute. For the last over a decade, I've been helping organizations become what we refer to as being crisis ready.
My name is Ayme Zemke. I am Executive Vice President of Client Experience at Beehive Strategic Communication, and I'm a certified crisis leader and lead crisis work across a number of clients with our team. I really think about the fact that expectations have just risen to a degree that I don't think anyone could have predicted in terms of what people expect from their leaders, what they expect from their organizations. And I think there's a surprising level of trust and expectation for businesses to do something and to say something and for leaders to stand up. And so when there's a crisis, being quiet has never been more risky. I think that was always considered the safe thing to do as well. We're going to hunker down, I'm going to be quiet, and I'm just not going to say anything. It's all going to just blow past. And now being quiet is probably the most risky thing you can do, because people want to hear from you. They want to understand what's going on. They want the perspective and they want to know what you're going to do about it. And if you're not out there proactively communicating, you're really kind of at a deficit. You're letting other people come up with that narrative, make up what they think's happened. When you leave that kind of space and silence, people are going to make it up, and they're not going to probably get it right.
Biggest challenging aspect of that is that nobody was taught how.
Right.
It's not something you're taught in school. It's not something you're even taught in MBA programs on how to lead through change, challenge, and crisis or controversy. And yet leading and communication, because to me they go together. And communication, just looking at communication alone, communication is one of the hardest parts of being human is communication in everyday life, right? Like everybody is different. We all have different lived experiences. We have different ways of processing information. We have different love languages. We have all, like, think of any relationship. Communication in the best of times is a challenge.
Right.
In crisis times, when, especially as the leader, when there's insecurity and vulnerability and ego and fear and all of the things at play, it becomes even more challenging. And nobody at this point in time, I believe that I could say that I'm just a rare human who has been set up for success. Crisis ready for us has always been this cultural component. It really is mindset, skill set, capability. Capability being governance and process and procedure and making sure that things flow and no bottlenecking and things actually work when they need to. Mindset and skill set. Mindset, the way that you approach a situation. So one of the things that I say is the way you choose to see any type of negative, let's just say negative situation or impactful situation, challenging situation, directly impacts the actions you're going to take. So if you see it as a pain or a nuisance or something that you allow fear to lead with, you're going to take one set of actions, versus if you see it as an opportunity for growth and learning and connection and courage, you're going to take a different set of actions, which are directly going to impact the result, right, that it has on the business or on the organization, on the brand, and on people. So mindset, and then skill set is, can you actually do it? You can see it one way, but not know what to do when things are happening so fast in this world, things are spiraling out of control so quickly. You really want a team that's not going, where's that plan again? Right? I see a plan or a program as like the security blanket that's on the desk, that when you know that you're in overwhelm, that you can have something that fall back on, that you know that you understand, that gives you kind of that step-by-step process, but you have this skill set. You've brought your default, because we revert to default in times of stress. You brought you and your team's default to a level where even in times of stress, you're at a great place in terms of leading and communicating.
It's such an interesting way to think about it, in that in every crisis there is an opportunity, and it's in how you respond. Take care of what happens and then move forward from it, learn from it. There is opportunity within crisis, which I think is not everyone's default position, but it's only there for you if you know what you're doing, the skills are fresh, and to your point, you're not pulling a dusty plan off of a shelf. You are ready for that to happen, then you can take advantage of that opportunity.
So it sounds cliche, but it's the hardest thing to do. Even somebody like me who knows this, right? Who this is my view of the world, and that's why Crisis Ready is what it is. It's still hard. Being able to detect, assess, and respond effectively. And we've already defined what effective response is, or the result of that is. if you break that down, so detect, you need to understand what you're seeing when you see it.
Mhm.
So, and that it's easy when, I don't know, there's a hurricane coming, or right when it's very, very blatant. It's more challenging when there is a shift in our society. So, for example, during 2020, Black Lives Matter movement,
Mhm.
um, that had happened, that movement had taken place a couple times historically,
Mhm.
right? But it never really shifted. All of a sudden, there was a real shift that
Mhm.
occurred. And having the understanding of that shift is real, and that is, if we don't step up, if we haven't yet stepped up,
Mhm.
if we don't step up and we don't take this seriously and we don't ingrain this mindset and these values into our culture, if they aren't already there, that is a risk, right? We are not going to be a place of work where we're going to deserve great people,
Yeah.
right? We're not going to have earned that. It's things like that. It's being able to understand when you truly are faced with something that could present a risk to your brand, to your organization.
Mhm.
So understanding kind of those thresholds of impact,
Mhm.
understand even just baseline what's a crisis for your organization, because a crisis for one isn't necessarily a crisis for another. And then what are those thresholds that go from issue to crisis, and also crisis to issue down to non-issue.
Right.
And then another key component, if we're just going to say a couple, is understanding the people who matter. The people who matter to your organization, all of your different stakeholder groups, what is their relationship with the brand? You mentioned expectation. What are the core values that tie you, right? Where are those heartstrings? What are the expectations? What are the demands? And in times of crisis, the more you understand about the people you serve, the people your organization is designed and built to serve,
Mhm.
the better you can communicate and lead them in times of crisis. The more trust you can build at pre, and the more trust you'll have during, which gives you the benefit of the doubt at the onset of crisis.
Right.